there are people who are watching this afterwards, so I guess I'll have conversations with myself. If we don't get started, this is 6 weeks to success, and this is week number 6. And I know that there's some really great stuff here, and we made it to week number 6, so yay, yay, yay on that. Basically, we have been working on our product knowledge. We have been working on our beliefs in ourselves and in the company and the products. And the homework tonight, which Michael reads, is going to be really great for anybody who has self-doubt, because Michael really shares from the heart, and he shares about his challenges when he first got started. And I think it's going to make a big difference to anybody in the business who thinks that how you start out is how you end up. Because he certainly turned around some failures into great success, and not even just one failure, but multiple failures. So we've talked about how to get parties and bookings outside of shows and inside of shows, and anybody who really wants to connect and take some really great training, you can go back to PC University for the new consultant experience, because they just revised it, and there are a whole bunch of new videos that are placed up there, and they have varying topics, a lot of the same topics that we've gone through in the 6 weeks they've gone through, but the videos are short. They're 1 to 6 minutes long, and they just are a great refresher, and you can do as many as you want at a time, or just take one a day for a while and see if that doesn't jumpstart your business. But I highly encourage people to do that. And then the next part that we were working on is our passion and how that affects how successful we're going to be in booking shows, how we present the current host special, guest special, theme shows, all of that kind of stuff. We also have great host coaching and systems that you can use, again, in the new consultant experience that's just been posted. They have some great host coaching training, and they have these just short little snippet videos I think you're really going to enjoy. Also, your skills. I'm still fighting this little cough thing. It's kind of turned into a sinus thing. But I am going to muddle through no matter what, because we are on week 6 and we are going to get this wrapped up. You know, it also, I'm in a pilot program right now called the Income Calculator. And those of you who like to earn trips, hi Robin, thanks for joining us, who like to earn trips, we know how important having the incentive calculator is, but this income calculator, I got to play around with it for a little while, and I love it because I can change any variable in my hostess coaching by number of orders, number of people attending, average show order, anything I want to work on. I can see how it's going to affect my bottom line and my paycheck. If I increase the number of shows I do each month, what that will mean that month, and what it will mean by the end of the year if I continue to do that. So I think you're really going to enjoy this income calculator. I know that it's in pilot, but I can't see it not being a phenomenal success. And I'm super excited to be able to take it live with other consultants and show them the benefit of working on their host coaching or working on just the number of shows they do every month. Then also there's variables for leadership as you bring people in, as you increase the number of people and the number of shows that they do, what that can do for your income. So instead of just guessing, you can actually know and experiment with this income calculator. So skills were going to make a huge difference at every single party that you do. I know we had Robin. Okay. All right. Unmute. Robin, I unmuted you. Thank you for coming. We are also talking about recruiting and that it's just a conversation. We went through the 7-question recruitings and how you can use the online recruiting questions that you can pull up and work with people. And then the next thing you can do is you can build your skills, and we were working on that. Okay, unmute. There we go. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Hello.
Had issues with my computer.
Then last week we really worked on good customer service, the contacts, and again, in the new consultant experience, they really walk people through on how to do customer care in a very simple way. And I think there were like 3 different segments. One was 1 minute, one was 3 minutes, and one was 5 minutes. Very, very doable for people to sit down and watch that. And I'm just going to encourage everybody to go back through and click on the refresher for new consultant training, the new videos that just went live this last week. And then what to say to customers in phone or in person. And I think you're just going to find that that's really great. Robin, did you have any questions about the customer care calls?
No, I don't. I need to start doing them.
Okay. So jumping in, and as I was just saying, there are the scripts now through the new consultant experience on PCU. And there's a little button that says, are you a new consultant or are you taking a refresher? So when you do bring people into the business, you can see what they're going to experience as well as doing it as a refresher for yourself. So the scripts are right there, and the videos are short, but very impactful. Okay, so today we're going to discuss my weaknesses. No, we're going to discuss calendar management and personal discipline. When you are an employee, you show up to work. You're told what to do for the most part, or you're given a list of expectations of things to do. And if you don't do them, basically, after a while, you're probably going to be let go. So most of us, when we are employees, know what our expectations are, and we do it. If we have a boss who doesn't set clear defined expectations, it can be very, very frustrating. So if you are a boss or a supervisor in any capacity, having those rules can help your employees feel less frustrated, very confident, their ability that they're doing what they're supposed to do, as well as set guidelines. But in the Pampered Chef business, you're really both the employee and the employer. I jokingly say that I hire and fire myself on a regular basis. I fire and rehire myself, and I get to kick my own rear into gear when I need to. So we are going to discuss this today, and I am going to just tell you that I have taken all kinds of training over the years on this because it is my Achilles heel. I get going on a system, or I tell myself I'm going to get something done, and then I lose my focus and I stop doing it. I train once a week with a consultant on my team, and she is a no fluff kind of person, but when she says she's going to do something or she's going to focus on something, she creates a system and she does it over and over again. She constantly impresses me with her ability, and because of her ability to stay focused, she gets incredible results. So basically, we've spent the last 6 weeks of this course, 7 weeks if we count the week we took off, and another, 8 weeks with executive seminar. But we learned how to be an awesome consultant. I think we have a good idea of the expectations and what makes us ordinary or extraordinary. Where we can improve and what we can do. But if you don't make a plan and if you don't put it into action, you basically have wasted your time unless you file it away and you are going to use it in the future. But why not now? I'm going to share a little screenshot here, and I'm going to zoom forward. Share screen, go to the desktop. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we made it. Didn't have any questions. There's a review in case you want to go over those things. And here we go right here. This is where we are. So just going to enlarge that a little bit. Okay. All right, some people just walk through life, they talk, and then life is over. Some people walk through life, they walk, and they arrive at their destination. Basically, we've got to take it one step at a time, and we have to know where we want to go so that we end up there. So today is about a little self-assessment, a checklist, and some little introspective thinking as we look into ourselves. And so there are 15 questions here to delve into that really are going to help you find your own Achilles heel, where your stuck point is in the business. You know, and they're pretty direct questions, and the more honest you answer these questions, giving yourself credit where credit is due, as well as deciding what you need to change, I think you're going to find out that this is probably some of the most important work that you can do in this course. So the first question is, do my hosts ever call and ask me for something? And if they are calling you for something, you need to think about whether you could have reached out to them first with a customer care call, because that's going to help you give you the confidence that you are going to see customer care as good service as opposed to bugging people. The next thing is, if your hosts call you to go over their shows, is it because you're not doing your host coaching? And they're getting antsy because you haven't gotten in touch with them, and that you were the one who needed to initiate that call. Or maybe they're signaling to you that they're really excited, and maybe that's your next potential team member because they are so excited. So, you know, that's a little bit of an evaluation there. And then you can ask yourself, am I punctual to my hostess homes, team meetings, and trainings? In our family, we have a saying, you ought to be where you ought to be when you ought to be there. And I don't always make that. I tend to run a little bit late. I have little games that I play with myself where I plan on being at a show an hour ahead of time. So when I'm there 35, 40 minutes ahead of time, I'm on time, because I know I tend to run late. Sometimes I ask, you know, I have an appointment tomorrow at 3:10, and I wrote down that the appointment was at 3 o'clock. So, I mean, if you know that you're last minute Lucy and you're trying to get one more thing done before you walk out of the house, sometimes you've got to play a little game with yourself. But I mean, here it just lays it all out, and I should probably have this as a printed reminder that runs across my computer screen or my phone every day, that anything that is late is not professional, and that I am disrespecting other people's time when I show up late. Also, you know, if I don't wrap up the show and get my stuff out of there on a timely basis, again, that's infringing on my hostess's time as well. Am I kind, courteous, quick to resolve issues, truthful, knowledgeable? I think this is the Pampered Chef motto. Just like the Scouts have their motto, I think yours is courteous, quick to resolve issues, truthful, and knowledgeable. Yes. You know, again, we want to make people want to work with us. And you know, it's okay to say, I don't know the answer to that. Let me find out. I want to get you 100% accurate information. I'll get back to you. And then remember to get back to them. I was just talking with my upline, Barbara Duke, and I was telling her, I said, I'm just feeling a little bit scatterbrained and I'm not remembering things like I used to. And Barbara said, I can't remember everything. So I use everything in Outlook. And I put everything into Outlook, and then I can go back and remember what I've done or what I said I was going to do. So, you know, if you know you're scatterbrained, then again, you need some kind of system. Do my hosts and guests ever say to me, this was the most fun show I've ever been to? You were awesome at what you do. This makes bookings easy and plentiful. You want to be likable. No funny, no money. Something we've said for years. But basically, we want people to have a good time. We want them to learn a little bit, and we want them to repeat it. Not because you gave them everything they needed all in one show, but because you honored their time, kept it short, made it fun and fast. And then here is a huge thing when people tell me that they're working their business all the time. One of the questions I used to ask people, are you thinking about your business all the time? Or are you actually working your business all the time? Are you doing income generating activities? Or are you looking at recipes, surfing the website? You know, we do need to get trained. We do need to get excited. We do need to have a background and be knowledgeable. But the thing is are you on Facebook actually working your business, or are you on Facebook getting distracted? And, you know, after coming home from executive seminar, one of the takeaways that I had was that if you have an interruption and have your cell phone by your side all the time, approximately every time we respond to something on our phone, it takes 5 minutes away from our business. And by the end of the day, we've checked our phone up to 120 times a day and have let go of 3 hours of productivity in a single day. If you work your business 5 days a week, that would be 15 hours where you have been taken away from your work. So this also says, you know, that you need to use highlighters to structure out your personal time, your business time, your show time, your office work time, your exercise time, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you're not working all the time and that you're a balanced person. And you can let your calendar help you do this. The next thing is procrastination. Are you a procrastinator? Oh, I see a face there.
I'm awful at it.
Homework, making phone calls, returning calls and emails. 2 months ago, I had a nice order and I did not get back to the customer in time and I lost the order. And it was totally my fault. You know, she went and found somebody who could get back to her and could get that order in. So sometimes we get a little jaded because people tell us that they want something. We go to give it to them and they change their mind. And so then the next time somebody tells us this, we don't really believe that they want it, you know, or they want it in a timely manner. So we have to give each customer the benefit of the doubt, and we have to stop feeling like my time is more important to you. Somebody told me one time, everybody's busy. They all have the same amount of hours and minutes in the day that you have. They just choose to do something different with their time. So if you're spending a lot of time telling people how busy you are not honoring how important their time is as well. So, that's a great reminder for me, because I tend to keep myself really, really busy, and I want other people to hear how busy I am. And if I would stop talking about how busy I was, I'd have more time not to be busy. So number 7, are my hosts and recruiting packets clear, concise, clearly labeled, and professional looking? Are you putting wrinkled catalogs or papers into your packet? Stop it. Stop it. I have pretty nice looking host packets, but every once in a while I found that I just kept adding to them, and I need to go back and make sure that they are concise, that the hostess has what she needs to have a show, but she doesn't get overwhelmed because I just kept adding to it and I never took anything out. So again, I stopped shoving stuff in an envelope, because I'd get to the show, I'd find out that somebody had taken the postcards out or they took the catalogs out. Everything else was still shoved in the envelope. I like to give everybody at the show, if I possibly can, just my hostess packet. My hostess packet that I call magazine style, so that they can flip through it and they can see everything that's important in there, and the catalogs are nice and neat. And these are plastic, so I can recycle them and use them over and over again. So they can be kind of pricey. So twice a year, I usually look for when they have the school sales, and sometimes I get them as cheap as 15 cents a piece. You could use paper ones, but again, these stay nice and professional looking, and I can have them for years. And I do get them back. I look for them at the hostess's house. I'll take out everything I think she still needs out of them, and then I take them home with me. And I think someplace on my host letter, it even says that I use recyclable hostess packets. Okay, so here's another one. Is my actual show from start to finish no longer than an hour? You cannot go on and on about stuff. You have to be informative, and you have to get the most important things, and you have to get done. And sometimes you have to come a little bit earlier and do the prep that you need to do, or bring things already done. I like sometimes to do what I call the Pampered Chef Fairy, and that's where I have something ready to go in the oven when I get there, and when I make hers, I take that home with me. So it just speeds things up, especially if my hostess really wants to have recipes that there are multiple baking recipes. If I can replace it and take it home with me, then I bring it already done, and that helps me keep my show concise and flowing easily. I want to make sure I have time for what I think is the most important things, and if I am feeling like I'm catering, then I'm not going to have time for what I think is really important. Do I start on time as promised? Now, I thought about this one. A lot of times my hostess is asking me if we can wait for the last 3 people. So I decided that I could explain to my hostess when I was doing my host coaching that we were going to start on time. And then even if we had a few little stragglers, they would catch up and people would catch them up. But out of respect for the people who show up on time, we're going to start on time. Your punctuality is not as important as the 3 we're waiting on. I just really think that, that we want to honor the people who got there on time, and if some people are waiting, every once in a while you're going to have to vary this a little bit if nobody showed up on time. But again, I think if you add this to part of your host coaching and you just say, you know, I really want to honor the people who get there on time. So if you don't mind letting everybody know that we will start exactly at 6:03, you know, usually if you say something a little bit funny like 6:03 instead of 6 p.m., that sticks in their head and it makes it easier for them to repeat it to everybody and let them know that you're hoping that they're going to be there on time. Do you fumble around during your shows? Or do you keep a fast-paced, informative, fun, and full of tips? Nothing will make a customer tune out and start flipping through the catalog if you start talking to the neighbor like a boring consultant. I found that every time I have to leave my table and go to the kitchen, every time I have to stop and do something, that's when I lose people. And if I can let it flow, or I can ask my hostess ahead of time if she'll run things to the kitchen for me or get something out of the oven for me, I can keep the show more concise. I don't lose people and then have to wheel them back in. So, you know, again, being prepared. Again, if you have to have stuff done ahead of time so that you don't have to leave your table, I think you'll find that this really helps the flow of your show. Because every time you have to bring people back, you have to be the bad Pampered Chef consultant. You know, obviously we don't want to slam our food choppers or bang on the table or be rude in any way. I learned over the years that if you talk softly or you talk to one person, that other people are going to want to know what you're saying to them, and that helps bring you in. That was a great tip that I got from Doris Christopher, oh gosh, maybe after I'd been in the business about 5 years, and it really was something that helped you seem very nice and approachable, but it helped get the attention back to you, because people don't want to be left out. And if you turn your back onto them and you're just talking to one person and sharing something with one person, people eavesdrop. And that's going to help draw them back in. So hopefully that's a helpful little tip. Okay. Are you really making 3 calls and contacts a day? Lynette Allman shared with us that she has made a goal where she's going to make 15 live contacts a week with people, and that leading messages and texts do not count. Also, use a mini catalog as a business card to hand out to people. Make sure you put those little post-it notes on there where you can get their information back from them. Or as I shared last week on the phone, make your own personal business contact on your cell phone. I don't know, Robin, if you did that or not, but I can send you mine right now, where it has all my contact information. I'll get your phone number, then I'll send it to you, and then I'll add them into my phone. And that works like a charm. Would you mind putting me in your contacts under Pamperdina? You might forget my name, but as soon as you see Pampered, you'll remember that I'm your Pampered Chef consultant. So it's just a little helpful thing on that. Are you adding new business? Or are you going back to the same wells over and over again? I know I have some great past hostesses, and I love to do shows with them, but I need to be adding 50 to 75% of new business. I'm really looking forward to my holiday food and gift show next month, the second week of November, because my goal is to have 8 shows booked for January by the end of November. And I want it to be 50 to 75% new business. I know I want to have 8 shows in January, so what am I going to do? I'm going to overbook. So I went through today and I picked out some dates that I'm going to have shows in January, and I gave myself Thursday nights and, Tuesday nights and Friday nights, because a lot of times I can get girls' night out parties on Friday nights. And it tends to be a night where my husband's already at work, so that works for me. But I knew the beginning of the month I would have trouble booking some shows, So I, put little green squares around some extra dates towards the end of the month so that I could fill up the calendar. Personal appearance. Personal appearance at your shows, we probably all have that. If you haven't heard my little tip on, black capris and a black t-shirt with your apron is, a great uniform, or a Pampered Chef logo t-shirt. And I don't mean just like a boys t-shirt, but a nice professional looking Pampered Chef logo gear. But I keep it simple, and I tend to wear something very similar to every single show so I don't have to think about it. Obviously in the winter, I'm probably going to be wearing boots. I make sure that I don't have holes in my socks in case I'm dropping my boots at the front door. And I'm doing my show in stocking feet because I don't want to drag snow all across, and I want to make sure that my boots aren't hard to get in and out of. But it's not just at my shows, it's not just personal hygiene. It's like if I'm going to be out and about and I'm going to be meeting people, I don't have to be dressed up, but I want to be put together. Today I have on a pair of jeans and a Pampered Chef jacket and my Help with Cancer and pink t-shirt. And I could go anywhere and feel like, even though I'm wearing jeans and a sweatshirt, I could still be talking about the Pampered Chef business that I, cared about my personal appearance. If I'm not put together, obviously if I'm at a gym sweating, but I can still be neat and clean and smell good and have business cards with me and be prepared to find business everywhere. The same thing is with your kit. Now, our batter bowl is going to get scratched, are you going to have stones that you've had for years? But we want to make sure that our tools look nice and clean. And every once in a while, I bring spatulas that aren't looking so great, and I put them in my kitchen, and I put the good ones in my kit because I want my products to look really nice. Once a year, you can order at 40% off, and that's the time to go through and refurbish your kit if you need to. And then the next thing is, can you be counted on? If you say you're going to do something, are you going to do it? Do you always deliver? My rule is to deliver more than you promise. I don't want to run around doing deliveries. So sometimes I pick up the extra shipping and have it shipped to somebody's house because the amount of time that it's going to take me is costing me money to go deliver it. Now, if I'm going to recruit that person or I want more FaceTime with them, by all means, go and deliver it. So I hope you spend a little time on these 15 questions and kind of figure out where you're at and where you can improve. Not everybody is going to be good at everything, but we can all strive to be better. I love this. Self-complacency is fatal to progress. And if we aren't willing to take a good hard look at where we're lacking, how can we reinvent ourselves, reevaluate our priorities to be successful if we're not willing to take a good hard look at where we really stand? Okay, so here we are. Our very last pillar is will. The skill and the will to move forward. In this series, we have had a lot of homework. And today's homework, I shared earlier on the call, is Michael Reeves. And one of the things that he humbly shared is that he lost his career sales 9 times in the business. And he went on to be one of the top sellers in the company. Typically, he is in top 3 or so in sales of absolutely everybody. But I guarantee you, he had to change some things that he was doing to get from where he lost his career sales 9 times to where he is now a top seller in the company. But if your will isn't there, it doesn't matter how good you are and how much you know. If you can't make yourself schedule parties, then you're not going to make it work. I can't make you work. I can't make you call your hostesses. I can't make you follow up punctually with potential recruits. I can't book your parties. I can't make you play with your tools. I can't make you earn a trip. I can't make you be punctual and prompt. I can't make you share this business with absolutely everyone you come in contact with. I can't make you smile at everyone, but you can if you will. You know, we are the boss of us. We are both the employee and the employer in this business, and how well we do. Okay. All right. It's all up to you and your will. Okay. I think I'm ricocheted through. I got to go back. Now I'm 4 screens. Okay, I'm supposed to arrow up. It's not going back. Okay, here we go. You can do it. You know, this is obviously a take on Rosie the Riveter. You know, in the wartime, they had no idea how much women could do until they needed to do it. And I think that all of us have that ability where we don't know how much we can do until we need to do it. This isn't magic. You know, I can't wave a magic wand at people and make them book and sign and purchase under you. But I do believe that you can take the components of what we've been learning here and have great success with it. So here's a little bit of a challenge. And, you know, I've heard this before. And you want to stop and think about this. What do I need to stop? What do I need to start? And what do I need to continue? So with me, I think I need to stop making excuses. I think a lot of people fall into that boat. But I need to stop getting distracted. I need to start being better at my follow-up and my focus. So that's what I wrote down is I need to be on time, I need to focus, and I need to follow through. And I need to get on the phone and I need to make some calls. Continue. What do you need to continue? With me, I came up with I needed to continue the things that I know works. You know, there are lots of things that I have the skill for, and I just need to continue to do the things that I know works. So here we are at the question point of the call. And Robin, it's all about you. Did anything stand out to you so far tonight in the PowerPoints, or do you have any questions about anything where you wanted me to slow down and do a little bit more on a particular topic?
I think between you and going to team meetings at Connie's, you guys both cover a lot and help out a lot.
Okay, so
I just need to quit being lazy.
You've heard it before. You have heard it before. Okay, so here we get down to the training. So in 2015, my friend Patsy Masserano, I'm murdering her last name, and Marie Friday put together a pre-conference training with their teams. And they filmed Michael Reeves doing his top 20 business tips. And I think you're going to find this very enlightening. First of all, I think you're going to really like Michael. He is funny. He is funny, he is sincere, and he is really just a nice guy, you know, and he comes across as a nice guy. He does Pampered Chef full time. And I think that you're going to find that he's approachable and very sincere and very, very humble but I think that you're going to find that he can help you get from zero to hero probably faster than just about anybody, just because of the humility that he offers with his tips. So you need to commit to change anything where you feel you are lacking, and really sit down and review that list of 15. I know that I made a little note for myself and put removable sticky glue on the back of it, and I'm sticking it on my desk where I can look at it, because I don't want to keep falling into the same traps. And sometimes I just have to put it in front of me to look at it. I know with host coaching, sometimes I get really into telling people what they need to do instead of allowing them to find out what they need to do on their own and just be here to guide them. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. You know, and a lot of us just make our comfort zone very, very tight, and we don't want to step out of it, and we use phrases like I can't, or I won't, or I'm not sure, or I think I'll try, as opposed to setting big, hairy, audacious goals and expanding our comfort zone and making things happen in our lives instead of letting life happen to us. Anyhow, I just really want to thank you guys for being on the calls, even if you're on the calls later. It's gratifying to see people who are clicking in. And I know that my next series of calls are going to be nice and short, just like what you're going to see from that training that we talked about under the new consultant training, where there are 1 to 6 minute topics. And I think you're going to enjoy what I'm calling the microburst trainings. And I just, especially Robin, since you made the time to be on the majority of the calls, really thank you for being there, so I wasn't just talking to the PowerPoint screen. It is nice to see your head nodding in agreement and having you there. So unless you have anything else we need to wrap up, or you have something that you think stands out in the 6 weeks of training over the last 8 weeks, I think we're just going to say, you know, goodbye for the night. And we'll click in again. I would love to hear from you and see what things you're trying.
Yeah, I'll post on the Facebook page. That last vendor event that I said I had, well, it fell through.
Oh.
They got dates mixed up.
Oh.
But I did sign up for another one, and it's out in Grand Island.
Okay.
That one's on November 4th, so.
And you know, when you introduce yourself and you let people know where you're from, one of the things you should say is, you know, I'm expanding my territory and I'm looking for a few great consultants out in this area, or a few great people to add to my team out in this area. So make sure you ask for what you want.
Definitely.
Because doing a show or two in Grand Island is not a big deal, but doing 8 shows in Grand Island would get old fast in 1 month.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of driving.
Yeah, it would be a lot of driving. Anyhow, thank you so much, Robin. And I do want to hear from you.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Dina. Bye, Dana.
Bye.
Bye, Robin.